One other skill in parenting to be a good parent is that you have to stick to your rules. So we all have the responsibility as a parent to teach our kid what is a good thing to do and what is a bad thing to do, and ask them to follow the rules, right? So that they don't do the bad thing. Now, there are some things that we have to consider when we are setting the rules for our kids. The first thing is that we have to enforce those rules. It means that you have to be consistent. If you one day work based on the rule that you made, and then next time you make an exception and then don't follow that, sometimes you follow, sometimes you don't follow, sometimes ask your kid to do that, sometimes not to, then your kids are very good in recognizing that one and get some benefit in their own favor. And after a while, they're not listening to anything that, any rule that you are making, because they are hoping that such a thing happens to that rule too. So that's the first key, to be consistent. The second thing is that to be flexible. Have there ever happened that when you make a rule and then you get back and say, oh, that has been too harsh, right? Then you have to be flexible and change it, right? So that doesn't hurt your kid, right? You don't want to hurt your kid with very harsh rules that goes ups and down from every corner and do this, do that. You have to be lenient with them too. You have to consider the degree of the, for example, punishment for something bad that they may do, right? And many other things. So make sure that your rules are not very harsh. And if you find out, you have to be flexible to change it. And when you do that, make sure that you are explaining to them that you have been wrong in such a thing and why you have been wrong. And now what's the new rule that they have to follow? That's the second thing. The third thing that you do about the rules is that any rule that you make, it has to be applied to everybody in home, right? Including yourself. So that is one thing that the kids are very, very sensitive to receive an unfair or unjudged or unequal treatment compared to other people, including the parents and the people that they are bigger than. So you have to be very careful when you set a rule. You have to follow that yourself too. And if you made a mistake regarding that, you have to apologize, right? Everybody can make a mistake, right? Your kids can make a mistake, right? And they apologize and you have to forgive them. You can do a mistake too, right? That's not the end of the world, but make sure that anytime such a thing happens, you apologize for that too. And it applies to all the kids and at every age. Don't think that a child is very little, they doesn't important, they are little, they have to follow some, but you don't have to, or the bigger kids don't have to. When there is something that have to be followed, it has to be for everyone. And also, that's one of the things that can make your teenagers get closer to you, because those are at the age that they are super sensitive to unfair treatments. And when they feel that the parents, they're not obeying or their own rule, they feel that they are under such a pressure, not from here and there and the classmate and the society and this and that, but even from their own parents. So make sure you are sensitive to all those behaviors too.